Hi everybody, this is Shah from Charlie's Angel Tarot. I've just received the Shadowland Lenormand from BODIRSKY. You know my Shadowlands, I'm crazy about my Shadowland Tarot. This is my Shadowland Tarot. There is also a review out on this and it's a beautiful book. The presentation is absolutely gorgeous. It reminds me of the Addams Family, and if you do like the Addams Family and quirky things, then you will love this tarot. I'm also a Lenormand reader, and I do also read the numerology of the numbers on the cards, and some people call it cartomancy and other people just call it oracle, but this is really a beautiful presentation. Again, it is glossy, it's a sturdy box, you just cannot fault anything from Shifer Red Feather. This is the front, this is the bookcase backing, and this is the back of the deck and the box. Fear of what we can't see has the ability to conjure images of hungry beasts ready to pounce from the shadows, yet it is within the shadows where hidden truths is revealed. Become acquainted with the shadow aspect of our archetype personalities through the playful and quirky ink and watercolor creatures that compose the 36 Lenormand deck and accompanying guidebook. It is slightly bigger than my hand. This is an oracle box, so you can see it is slightly thinner or narrower than an oracle box, but it's got more or less the same height, perhaps 1 centimeter taller or longer. It is a flip box with a magnet, and we've got BODIRSKY here. She's a very lovely lady. She's also very approachable. She also gives lessons, workshops in Lenormand or Oracle, because I do have the House of Shadows as well. BODIRSKY, BDS, she or her, is a first-generation Canadian artist, author and practitioner of the mythical arts and is of Northern and Eastern European heritage. She identifies as a settler, gratefully living in Toronto, on the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit Nation, the Anishinaabe, Wendat, Chicopee, Oweya, and Métis, and in-out people informed by the inherited gift for advising a seership. She has passionately about creating tools that foster self-awareness, empowerment, and earth-based spirituality. She's the artist, and sorry darlings, I'll cut it out, but the alarm system or the sirens went off on the phone because we've got extreme weather from the storm of Eunice. There's already one person passed away, so I'll cut that out. Coming back to the deck, she is the artist and author of several oracle decks, including the Shadowland Tarot, and is the founder of the Witches Fest, North Arts and Cultural Festival, CATS, Coffee and Tarot Society, and the International Museum of Mystical Arts, a sought-after international speaker and consultant. She currently resides in an enchanted home with her life partner, Alan. Now, I like the way it is done with black and yellow, derived from the Shadowlands tarot, and this is the box. The ribbon is in the lengthways instead of the width, so that is really nice as well, lifting them up. This is a card to protect them. You can use these cards making notes, I suppose. Perhaps we'll see. And this is the backing, like the tarot deck, and that is the front. Now they're numbered and they're named. Okay. I've had to close the window as well because you can hear the wind fly through the house. Okay. I've got a very old house, flat. Again, out of hundreds of Lenormand options, Shadow Lenormand has become the only deck for me. What keeps me returning key ingredients that turn an art deck into a workhorse. Easy card identification in both large and small spreads. The inclusion of the clear titles and numbers, thoughtful symbol placed and direction. And of course the deck's delightful dark illustrations which pinpoint and give voice to life's hidden shadows. This tarot deck is a gem that I predict you will find yourself returning to time and time again. Carrie Paris is the author of the Relative Tarot, Sirens, Song Lenormand and Magpie Oracle casting kits. So I don't know, but this could be just an introduction to the Shadowland Tarot or Lenormand. And I walk into the shadows blindly and returned with 2020 vision. This deck is dedicated to my husband, partner, best friend, Alan in Shadows and Light. Acknowledgements, then we've got the contents, the foreword by Erica Robinson, 10 introduction, 19 cards, that's the page 19, 92 how to use the cards, 98 cards layouts, spreads, 110 conclusion, and 112 bibliography, so something about the author. And I like the way this is done. Now the spider is a thing in the tarot deck. When you do the pages like that, then you can see the spider coming down, but they haven't done that in this booklet. So it just says that she is a long time Lenormand reader. I think this is grounded in misunderstanding. Lenormand is a word language which is entirely different from the language of tarot. It must be learned as separately from the tarot as French must be from Chinese. To learn the rules of each one properly is an aid to appreciation. Lenormand is my primary instrument. I think of it more as an instrument than a tool, because the music is language, makes with practice, especially when in tune. When we are small, we learn the meaning of discrete words, long, dog, house, tree. We feel delighted at being able to link black marks on a white page to an image we create in our minds of a dog or a house or a tree, and thus we think we have learned to read, but we have barely begun. Lenormand moves us backwards from a picture to a word instead. We make that background connection and think we can now read Lenormand. Again, we just have begun. An individual word or Lenormand card can only tell us so much. We must learn to string them together. We start out doing the haltingly as we did in primary school, as in C-Spot Run. But practice begets poets from beginners, and Shadowlands Lenormand is a perfect tool to show us why in this deck the Lenormand objects come alive, interact with and are accompanied by whimsical characters who remind us that the ancestors are ever with us throughout our trials and joys. These characters feel like stand-ins for ourselves, so experience of reading with this deck feel quite like a virtual reality. Rich and satisfying and instructive, with this deck we can be fluid Lenormand readers, both from others or for ourselves. As a Lenormandist, I often talk about being in the company of the cards. I first discovered Lenormand as a new widow many years ago. I think it says widow, but a new window, I think. Well, might be wrong. And in my own pandemic time of isolation, which was in the state of widowhood, first feels like Lenormand was my one steadfast, reliable friend who sources and steady and steered the Shadowlands. Lenormand, had it existed back then, might have shown me sooner the power of Lenormand to do this. It is a deck that beckons one inside oneself to explore even the scary parts in safety. Erica Robinson, an English teacher and college administrator consultant for 30 years, has been reading Lenormand. Oh, she's wrote the introduction. Okay, so the Lenormand cards carries on about the Lenormand cards. Language of Lenormand: straightforward, provide no nonsense language. And then it's colourful, it's in colour, that's great. So we've got the rider here, a little creature with antennae, rides and waves from the top of a speedy 8-legged creature. So that's this one. Okay. The keywords: message, messenger, communication, speed, delivery, new romance, passion. Shadow: fleeting, impulsive, reckless thoughts, words or actions. And then those are the keywords. So the shadow is the reverse. I've learned that from Monica BODIRSKY's tarot deck. The keywords, and then you've got the flip side. The message is: take notice, something or someone is arriving quickly, a maybe simple letter or a new and exciting love interest. While we value speed, remember that it can sometimes lead to mistakes, especially if decisions are made impulsively. Scrutinize people or messages that seem too good to be true, or those who pressure you into questionable commitments with a fast talk. There may be a quirky message or an unusual delivery method attached to this message. The closer the rider card is to the center of your spread or your chosen seeker or significant card, the quicker the news. Also note the surrounding card indicate the type of news. The card is a speed modifier and can evoke the word fast, even interpreted in conjunction with other cards. Reflection. In some decks, reflection is like the message or meditation. 1. What type of news would make you happy at this moment? 2. Is there a particular romantic adventure that sounds intriguing to you? Or 3. Where or when do you act impulsively? So that is what is describing the card. So it's quite detailed and I love it. I really love it. She's also got the reflection in the tarot. It makes your querent, if you're reading for somebody else, these are the questions that you can ask your querent, and then obviously they're open questions, so they have to give you an answer. And then we've got Lenormand with the tarot. Try using a single card and asking a question. Place the Lenormand card upright in front of you. Shuffle the tarot deck and pull a card, placing it upright next to your Lenormand card. Ask yourself the following questions. What symbols, if any, are repeated? How do these two images work together and contradict one another? So really it is lovely, and you've got several spreads, so that's really great. And it's never wrong, because you can read intuitively besides the basic meaning as well. So just taking the shoulder off, or this, and then we go to, they've got the number but they haven't got the cartomancy on them, so that's a pity, but that's the rider. And they're sticking together. Just wobble the deck so they come loose. They are glossy. This is the first time I've seen it on TV or YouTube in colour, but this is the first time I'm holding the colour deck. It's lovely, the clover. I've got this deck in black and white, the 3rd edition, and this is the 1st edition colour. Okay, then we've got the house, the ship, the house, the tree. I really like it in colour. It's really lovely. Mind you, I used to do photography, and with photography, black and white, you see different shadows. So I'm going to just enlarge it so that you can see it. I'll just start again. The rider, the clover, the ship. And this deck does ignite or activate my intuition. You see so much in the cards, just besides the Lenormand meaning. It's not a wrong way to read it, it's just that most Lenormand readers, they say you should stick to Lenormand, but that's why I like different decks. You see so many different pictures. This is the snake, and he's reading a book. He's sitting on a bench, you can see that. The snake in the grass. The coffin, I'll keep it to Lenormand in the review. Okay, the bouquet, shadow in the back. This is also a lovely deck to use on Halloween. The scythe, the broom. I love the black cat, he's got a broom as well. And this is the birds. Now, if you know the Lenormand, you usually see birds sitting in a tree and one flying away. And here, there's a big bird, so he might have flown away, but he's caught a worm, right, in the cage. I've got the child. I just love this, like, don't lose your head, you know, and it's not the Lenormand meaning. The fox, wearing a mask, so you do get extra messages. The bear, the star. They are glossy, so they do slide. Then we've got the stork. Then we've got the dog. Then we've got the tower. we've got the garden, the mountain, the crossroads, the mice, the heart, the ring, the book, the letter, the man, the woman, Lily, the sun, the moon, the key, the fish, the anchor, and the cross. Now, the card stock is really, it's still flexible, but it's quite stiff, so it's very good stock. So there's 36, and it is gilded gold. They shake wonderfully. Brilliant. Now I can't ruffle shuffle, so I'm sorry, I can't test that, but I think they might be a bit too stiff, but they do bend. Yes, I don't want to break them. I'm very, very careful with my cards. I don't like ruining my cards because they're like my kids. Okay, so if I was doing a reading for today, I'm going to bring down the pictures. Then we have this, the bouquet. So you could be getting a visitor and a present. You could be getting a gift. Somebody could be coming round. Now I do think it's a pity that we haven't got the cartomancy bit on it. I'll get the regular from the Gilded Reverie. For those that don't know what I'm talking about, you've got the number, but you don't have the playing card number, the cartomancy, like Jack and Queen and King. Besides, and some of the numbers are left out, and also I think that's a pity, because that is my tarot side or tip that I use. Now that I've got it in my hands, you can see that the card is slightly bigger than a normal traditional Lenormand card, because that's from the Golden Reverie or the Gilded Reverie. But they are nice cards, good quality. So the 9 is for me an ending, a new beginning, a bouquet. Luck is on your side. You could be receiving a gift. Somebody could come and visit you. The scythe, you could be cutting away from the past. That is what it means. Also, you will be harvesting. 10, again an ending and a new beginning. The birds are really confirming the scythe. The scythe, the birds mean receiving news or getting news, or somebody has flown the nest. I always say somebody has flown the nest or the group or the coop. That is what I usually say. And the birds, well, I'll just show you what I mean. It's number 12. So we just go to number 12, and the keywords mean travel, busy work, juggling many small tasks, distractions, and anxiety, because the birds sit in a group. That is gossip. Usually I say gossip as well. So that could be the anxiety, chatting, gossip, feeling held captive by responsibilities. So with this deck, the captive bit with the cage, now I can understand it. That is quite a good indicator for somebody that wants to learn Lenormand. So that's great. And then it goes into the message again. Okay. Sometimes we underestimate the impact of nervous energy. We expand on filling our days with repetitive and multiple small activities. Anxieties can arise from everyday things we encounter, such as bills, chores, errands, and the feeling of having to put out fires constantly to keep up. Try not to be held captive by perceived obligations. Birds may also mean several small trips, as well as gossip, and that distracts you from the important tasks you need to complete. Reflection on this is: are you in jumping from one project to another without finishing any of them? 2. In what areas of life do you desire freedom? 3. Does sharing gossip ever make you feel empowered? So it does set the querent to thinking. Okay. Also, we have the heart. The heart means that you could have lost your heart to somebody or something, or like here it's stitched up, somebody hurted you. This could mean marriage, partnership, things like that. That is what the heart means. Now, if I read it together, then somebody could be coming to visit you to try to get you back because you left. The scythe means cutting away, leaving. Okay, they could come with an apology or a gift. You might felt trapped in this relationship because of something, because they were pushy or manipulative, so it could have hurt your heart. That is what I mean. So somebody could have tried to put a wedge in between you and your partner, and that is what made you feel trapped. You couldn't do anything about it because people were gossiping and it hurted you, and it drove a wedge between you and your partner perhaps. That's why you left, but you're broken-hearted. Okay, that would be the card that I would have had beneath the deck, the pile. So it's not a very happy reading, but definitely it is also a reading of warnings. Be prepared, somebody could be visiting you. Cut away what is not of no use to you. Look on the bright side of things. Watch out for gossip. You could be hearing news through gossip. You could be picking up a keyword that you were looking for to further your passion, follow your heart. So that is also another scenario. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Thank you so much for joining me, and please do remember, subscribe. It's for free, so why not? And if you don't want to be notified, then hit the bell on private. Thank you. Take care. God bless and stay safe.